So this cracked article illustrates the fight we are facing with all these corporate giants and against moderators in general. Now, in part 2, I think, I'm not sure, he talks about how he tries to go on Blizzard forum to get some answers. And therein lies the problem. A forum bans whoever they please, and thus no questions are going to be answered because they don't want to answer questions. They want a circle jerk. And that's why everyone was defending Blizzard's actions, because they probably banned everyone that wasn't, you know, a zombie. So that all you're left with is the fucking fanboys that will suck Blizzard's dick no matter what it does. And, you know, this delves into a deeper problem. This delves into the deeper problem that we are not willing to regulate these institutions the way they needed to be from the start. And they need to be, or else it's only going to get worse. You don't seem to understand that. It's going to get worse. It's going to get worse for you. It's going to get worse for them even. It's going to get worse for your fucking dog. It's going to get worse for everybody. And I will go into how it's going to get worse for them in a minute. But first I want to illustrate how, you know, it's fucked up that we're willing to deal with all this shit. You know, the fact that people bought Diablo 3 and couldn't sign in could have easily been avoided had they allowed single player to remain single player and not be connected to Blizzard.net. If they had not used the Blizzard networks to host single player games, they wouldn't crash so much, because they wouldn't have as much stress on their servers. Duh. Even someone that isn't a particularly technological savvy person, such as myself, can, you know, understand that. But, you know, that concept is lost to Blizzard because Blizzard isn't interested in making a substantial product. Blizzard wants to make money and secure that money. How do you secure that money? By forcing everyone to use the multiplayer facet of it. Because if people could just play single player, then theoretically they could pirate it. Theoretically. Most people are not going to pirate it anyway. Pirating is still nowhere as common as they want to believe it is. Pirating video games is difficult, and it takes up a lot of memory. So it's just not practical to pirate games. But Blizzard doesn't care. No institution cares. It's not about the fact... See, corporations get it. Corporations get it that it's not about the semantics, it's about the principle. The principle is someone, somewhere, is pirating Diablo 3. And just because of that, Blizzard is willing to put you all through hell because they know you're going to deal with it, and at the same time, get back at that potential pirate. Even though the pirate would have no practical means, even though it would be nearly impossible for them to pirate it online and use multiplayer, they would only be able to get the single player experience, it doesn't matter. Blizzard wants to fuck you over just to fuck over that principle. And that's the thing that they understand that you don't, and that's why they're the multi-billionaires. And what gets me is that you're not willing to see that, at least a little bit. I'm not asking you to become a fucking Ubermensch here, just to see that you're only going to keep getting fucked over until you stop putting up with it. That's it. Just stop putting up with it. And, you know, pirate the fucking game if you can. If you can't, then just steal it. Fucking steal it from the store. Or, you know what, just don't play the fucking game. And I know some people already say that, well, if you don't like it, don't play it. Well, that's not the point. See, I understand what they understand that you don't understand. And that's the principle. The principle is, I shouldn't have to just not play the game. I should be able to play the game that I bought guilt-free, free of all these responsibilities, free of the terms of service, and just be able to pop it in, install it, play it. That simple. You know? For $60, I'm entitled to that. Hell, for $20, I'm entitled to that. And, but that concept is lost to people like you. That concept is completely lost to the fan base, and to everyone else. Because you don't care. Because you're cowards. And, you know, this is going to hurt Blizzard too. But, like I said, I'll get into that in a moment. What I want to really talk about that, but I want to emphasize how this could have easily been avoided but Blizzard only cares about the potential and the principle of the matter. They don't care about you, the consumer. Their principles are not oriented to care about your needs, to care about your desires as the gamer that puts money in their pockets. You're the reason Blizzard is a multi-billion-dollar industry, but they don't give a shit. They care more about the fact that someone somewhere might be pirating, or someone somewhere might name their character Dickface or whatever, and they don't like that. And they're willing to go beyond the pale just to make sure it can't happen. So now I will talk about how this is going to hurt Blizzard and Steam. Or should I say Valve, but because of the Steam engine. Their very machines that they have used to orchestrate this monopoly and this tyranny on the gamers, and by extension anyone with a fucking computer, is going to hurt them. And you know why? Because as that guy said, when I couldn't sign into my Blizzard game, no one can sign into that Blizzard game. In other words, if Blizzard is down, anything that is associated with Blizzard is down. If the servers on Blizzard are down, you can't play WoW, you can't play Diablo 3, you can't play anything on Blizzard.net, on Battle.net, whatever. The point is, when you have that huge medium that controls a web of games, and it's shut down, it shuts down all of the games. It's the same thing with Steam. Steam is always fucking crashing for people. And when one Steam game doesn't work, none of them work. So Steam has to constantly stay vigilant in order to make sure it maintains itself. So then the issue becomes, you want to get back at these companies? Take them at the heart. Go for Steam and Blizzard. If you take down their servers, you take down their industry. If you could find a way to DDoS the mass server, the singularity of the servers that control the games themselves, not the private servers of some fucktard who's running a game like Golden Machine Gun or something on TF2. I'm talking about the servers themselves, the servers that actually run the video games, and by extension, when they're down, no one can play their games. If you could find a way to make those things crash intentionally and keep them crashing, you would take down the video game industry in a second. It would only take a few days. Let's just say that we got some hackers together and for 3 days, Blizzard was down. No one can sign on. They can't even play single player mode because that's the way Blizzard designed it and you dealt with it. So for 3 days, Blizzard gets no gameplay whatsoever. How do you think that will look for their profit margin? Do you think people would continue to buy Blizzard games? Most people would, because most people are sheep. But some won't. And they'll think they'll get such a better deal going to some other gaming company where the same exact thing will happen, but it won't be Blizzard. And that will piss off Blizzard. Now, let's say you did it to Valve and their Steam program. Let's say you did it to them all simultaneously. What do you think would happen? They would panic because they wouldn't know what to do. They didn't foresee this. They don't know how to handle that. And we're not profit motivated. That's the thing. That's what scares them most about pirates and hackers and things. It isn't the fact that they're getting something for free. They're getting money for a copy. They built a game and then they just copy that game over and over again, and they're getting money for nothing. They're getting $60 a game when it only costed the initial resources and labor to make that game. So it's not the fact that they're getting robbed. They're not really getting robbed. That's not the issue here. The issue here is that their power is compromised. Their security in that power is compromised. Their psyche is compromised. That idea that they're the ones in control, that's what's compromised. That's what will bother them. It will bother them that they can't simply intimidate people into not doing it. They can't bribe them into not doing it. They cannot use money to influence hackers and pirates and things to stop them from doing what they're doing. Because real pirates and hackers aren't doing it for the money. They're doing it for the principle. And that's how you fight this battle. That's how you fight evil. You fight evil with principles. Principles are the guiding force of this world. And it just so happens that a lot of people's principles are evil. There are evil principles. Principle does not necessarily mean good, it just means a body, a force, something greater than the human, gene, and is actually a state of mind. I believe firmly in metaphysics and the fact that thoughts predate human ingenuity. Thoughts predate the human mortality. Before there were even people, there were concepts, there were principles. They may not have been as active, but principles have always existed. Principles existed before man, and they will exist after man. Mankind is merely the instrument used to implement principles. Everything from fear, greed, power, love, passion, creativity, death, torture, anything you can imagine is merely an extension of principles. We are only a machine in and of ourselves. We are only a tool used to enforce these principles. And right now, the predominant principality of this world are evil. I cannot tell you which one in particular is the most in quantity, but I could tell you that it is evil. And that the second and third most quantitated is also evil. Many things in this world are fucking evil, and that's what basically is taking monopoly over our minds, over our lives, over everything. And even the Bible says that, and that's why I have deep respect and admiration for the Christian religion, but not for Christians. Because Christians don't listen to a word the Bible says. They've never actually read it and dig deep into that idea of that we battle not against flesh and blood, but against spirits, against principalities. And that's something most religious people aren't willing to explore, because then they're realizing they're wasting their lives. They're wasting their lives going to church, worshiping a dead guy on a cross, as opposed to living their lives for that principle. What principle was Christ trying to advocate? What principle did Christ die on a cross for? Those are the types of things Christians should be talking about. Not whether or not someone is saved or disgraced, or whether or not they're going to the right denominational church, or whether or not they're having premarital sex. That is not the point. The point is, and always has been and always will be, the principle. So you think about that. See you later.